Kaizer Chiefs are through to the next round of the CAF Confederations Cup, but how exactly did they do it? We're going to look at the key role of Etiosa Ighodaro in this happening, and we're also going to look at the role of Sipho Mtshatsha in this team and how the team are basically becoming, suited to his style of play. And we're also going to look at one thing that Chiefs should actually stop doing, especially in cases like this. And last but not least, someone that no one has talked about when it comes to Aden McCarthy. So let's start with Etiosa Ighodaro's role in the club of Kaizer Chiefs. So he's supposed to be a striker, which he is, but look at the positions that he takes. He's dropping basically from a 9 position and he drops so that he can play the ball deep. But when that happens, you will see something very interesting that they are trying to do here. Is that with Ighodaro dropping, being in that position, now what will end up happening is that since the center backs don't want him to roam around free, is that if you find Ighodaro in a position like this, he's basically pulled out this guy. He's pulled him out of position, which means now there is space that Ighodaro can now turn and go into once he passes the ball to Solomons. And the defense of Simba or any other team really is stretched because you have Lilepo giving width on this side, and then on the other side, you have Mfundo Vilagazi also stretching the pitch. So the team is stretched in all ways because now they are stretched vertically because they've moved from this way to this way, but they're also stretched horizontally because the wingers are giving width. Okay, it doesn't end there. If you continue looking, you'll also see something that happens. The movement. This is specifically in a goal. You see that there is Ighodaro playing there. There is Mtutuzi Shabalala playing there. What happens next is that one of the few things happen. Look at this movement of Mtutuzi Shabalala. He moves back and then forward. And what has happened, he has pulled a defender with him. And the space we talked about earlier, the defense is stretched, so now they're in trouble. And the secondary thing is that Ighodaro is now arriving late into the box. The defender, who's supposed to be tracking him, is more concentrated on what is happening here. He's not aware of what's happening behind him. And then Ighodaro arrives behind, and then he finishes the chance. But none of this would happen if Ighodaro was not in this position. If he had been here, like deeper, let's go to the very first clip. If Ighodaro is not in this position, then the defenders are tracking him easily because he's standing with them. But if he's here, that means when he makes the runs into the box, he's not in the box, but he's running into the box. So he becomes basically undetectable. And this is very important because then the space that is left behind, now we're basically competing to run and get into the space. If you're enjoying the video, please do make sure to subscribe to the channel. If we move on to the next thing after the goal, you'll also notice that he's not just a player who's obviously going to be in the box. Sometimes it drops all the way to the half to help Kaizer Chiefs in build-up. And this is very important because there's one thing that coaches always try to get, a +1 advantage, sometimes a +2 advantage. But basically, you're trying to have one man extra in your build-up stage. And why is Ighodaro important in being a one man extra in build-up? Well, it's because if it drops, then that means the people who are left up front are the people who tend to have pace. You have Lilepo here, as we saw in the goal. He's right there competing and chasing after the ball. You have Mtutuzi also, Mfundo Vilagazi up there, who's also skillful and he can dribble and take on people. So this is not, oh, we don't have a target striker, whatever, but it's more like the striker is actually doing the job. And also, okay, he's obviously a striker. So once Chiefs are in the final third, because the one clip that I showed you, it was Kaizer Chiefs in build-up. But now this is Kaizer Chiefs in the final third. And Ighodaro can be in a position whereby he's in the box. And again, he's in the box. And in this case, what you see him is that he moves and he creates space. Like here, he's with the defender. But look at his movement. These things are subtle, but they're there. He is with the defender as if he's going to make that run inside. You see that the thinking is he's going to make this run. And the defender obviously has to stay goal side. But Ighodaro, what does he do? He makes the run outside. And now all of a sudden, we can compete. Again, if Ighodaro gets to that ball first, he plays it first time. And it's a cross. So, We look at the last thing. He pulls the defenders out of position, which weakens the defensive line. You see here, and after that, you see that now the ball goes to Mduduzi, and no coach wants his defense to be like this. You have those two guys who are making their own line. You have the midfielder who's here, and then you have the two center backs, the right back and the center back. It's not organized. All that needs to happen is for Mduduzi to get a better touch, and this team is in trouble. Which brings us to the next element of Kaizer Chiefs' game, and it's Mtshatsha. One thing that people complain about with Mtshatsha is that he wins the ball, but then he loses it. But Chiefs are finding a way around this, and one of the main examples is making sure that he plays simple back passes. And usually for the many teams, a back pass, a heavy touch, those are pressing triggers. Basically, it means once either of those things happen, one of those things happen, then the team is going to press. Like here, he plays a pass back, and guess what's happening? The team goes in and they press. And what they've effectively done, they've left that huge gap for Mapoloba to then turn into space and have. And if you look at this again, you will see the same thing, the same element. Mtshatsha is there. You see, he plays a back pass. What does that do? It triggers this team to press. And once they've pressed, now they are pushing players up front, and they've created a gap in behind, and now Chiefs can attack that space. And it doesn't end there, because if you see here again, one thing that is happening is having Ngobo close to him, because if Ngobo is close to him, then Mtshatsha does not have to think about complicated passes to make. So when he wins the ball, all he has to do, he plays the ball to Ngobo. That is why they're playing a 4-2-3-1 and a triangle that is facing down, facing up, rather than a triangle that is facing down in a 4-3-3. By a triangle that is facing down and a triangle that is facing down. See, this is the 2 6s, and you see the triangle is facing up. But if they were playing 1, it would look different, because there's 1, 2, 3. We don't want that, because now that means the person who's here has all the responsibility to play the ball if he's here. But if you have 2 sitting at the base, then that means it's easy to play the ball among themselves before they can progress. Which brings us to the next one, and that is the fact that Mtshatsha, when he is not effective, is when they try to make him play passes like this, or when he attempts to do that, because that's just not his game. So he should maybe cut it out. Again, simple passing options. He wins the ball, there is someone who's ready to collect the ball from him. And also in this case, Mtshatsha, what he will do, you see that Ngobo is very close to him. So when the ball is won by Mtshatsha, who is he looking for? Ngobo, and then now Ngobo can start the attack. One thing that I didn't like about Chiefs is this. Look at how many options Chiefs has. They have 2 options open, but Peterson wants to kick the ball. Why? It feels like it's built. They are told they try to kick it as long, but there's no pressure. Just pass the ball. He wants to kick it. He ended up playing it. And here it's a goal kick, and then they chicken out. They end up playing the ball long, and they lose it. They should probably play less of long balls, and that would help them. But Aden McCarthy, people are not talking about Aden McCarthy, who played a very key role in that game. For starters, here he is. Velege Chiefs are playing with that back 3, which, if you're looking at them, when they're in position, and then they have these 2 options. So in that way, there are options, right? Because this team is going to now try and press them. But if you have a player like him, he just needs a smaller space, and he can find a pass. Like Ngobo, yes, he does make a good movement into space, but the composure of this boy to see that and just make sure that he plays that pass. And for the goal, you see it's him once again. He gets the ball, no one is pressing him, and then he plays that pass, because again, as we talked about, Mduduzi drops. And then on top of that, there he is. He's about to be pressured. When they pressure him, he just plays the ball. He makes things look very easy, and I think that he deserves a shout for the thing that he did in that game. So Chiefs won. They scored 2 set-piece goals, which is something that they've not done the entire season, so shout out to them. But what did you guys make of this game? Do make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. I will see you on the next one. Bye-bye.